If you don't look after your clients, if you don't get them results, if they don't feel valued, they're not going to want to keep coming back. Success isn't about doing one big thing perfectly. It's about doing small things consistently. Think of your business like a garden. If you plant seeds and only water them once in a while, they'll wither. Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Beauty Industry Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Kennedy. Now today I want to dive into a topic that every beauty business owner dreams of, being fully booked. Because let's be honest, there's nothing more satisfying than seeing your calendar packed with loyal, high-paying clients who love what you do. But here's the thing, getting fully booked isn't about luck. And it's not about just posting on Instagram and hoping for the best. It's about having a proven strategy, a framework that brings clients to your door and keeps them coming back for more. In fact, this is exactly what I used to teach in one of my most popular courses back in the day, Fully Booked Formula. And today I'm going to give you an exclusive preview of some of the most valuable tips and strategies. My goal is to give you so much value in this episode that you walk away feeling empowered to take action immediately. So let's first start addressing the elephant in the room. Why do so many beauty businesses struggle to get fully booked? Well, here's a few of my own notes that I've created based on things that I've either witnessed, problems that clients have come to me with, things that I've also done in the past when I was running my beauty salon. Because when you're usually trying to get clients, you're thinking about things like, I'm just going to post a piece of content up, I'm going to run a discount or offer, and hopefully I'll make money and get clients from it. But that's just not always the case. And so, number one reason why you're not getting clients, and look, we're all guilty of this, whether we want to admit it or not, you're probably spending too much time doom scrolling social media, consuming everyone else's content and wasting energy comparing. Because what happens is then you start comparing yourself to everyone else. You think, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? You might kind of copy something in your own way, and then you're second guessing yourself, or you're thinking of doing something like really unique and innovative. And then you're like, are people going to judge me? And you just get stuck in this mindset where you're paralyzed. You don't want to post anything. You almost hit post, but then you're just like questioning everything. And so what you actually do is procrastinate. You stop yourself from even having the opportunity to get the result because you don't even start in the first place. And so that is probably the number one thing that's going to hold everyone back in the industry, is actually just not taking action and not doing the work. Because if you're not doing anything, you're obviously not able to even get any results. Another thing that people don't realize is actually deterring clients away is having really cheap prices. So if your prices are too cheap, you're always running discounts, you've always got some kind of promotional offer going on, people are going to lack trust towards your brand. If something is good quality, if something is valuable, do you think that people are going to perceive it as valuable or as quality if there's always some kind of massive discount attached to it? The mentality or common opinion of a lot of people running beauty salons is that if I run more discounts, I'm going to be cheaper, I'm going to attract more clients. While that may be partially true, like yes, you're running a discount, you might get some clients, what people fail to realize is that the quality of those clients is not it. They're the ones that always want a discount. They're the ones that come back with problems. They're the ones that always want free fix-ups. They're the ones that cancel last minute or don't show up to the appointments because, well, it wasn't even costing me that much anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's what cheap prices does. It not only can deter away high quality clients, but it attracts low quality clients, which just creates more headaches. It takes up your valuable space in your booking system, which could have been booked for someone who is of higher value, because you're just desperate to try get clients in, desperate to try make money. And that energy, people can feel that, people can see that, and they're not going to want to book when it seems like you're desperate. So obviously, with that being said, if you are introducing a new service, if you are new to offering that service, you're obviously not going to be able to charge full prices. However, if you've been in the industry a while, you have the experience, you have the quality in your service, and you are undercharging, people are just going to keep going to the person who is either charging the most or has the highest quality brand, because that is what creates trust. People see the value in it because it is a higher price point. So despite what your belief system may be around cheaper prices get more clients, I can tell you right now, after working with over 200 beauty salon owners, that that is not the case at all. The amount of people that have come to me and done profitable pricing calculators, almost crying because they're like, nah, all my clients are going to leave me. Like, it's going to be the end of the world, because I've told them you have to put your prices up by almost like $20 to $40 because they have been undercharging for so long. They're scared. They think, I can't do this. And I said, what's scarier, losing a business or putting your prices up and maybe losing one or two clients who are usually the nightmare clients and being able to attract new clients at those higher prices? So question what your prices are at, where they're positioning you in the market, and what type of clients that you're currently attracting with those prices. Now, I'm not sure if you realize this or not, but if you're not showing your face, if you're not speaking to your audience, or you're not putting effort into the copywriting in your captions in 2025, you're going to have a really hard time. You're going to have a really, really hard time trying to get more clients. And the reason being is people don't want to see a million before and afters. People don't just want to see pretty transformation reels anymore. They actually want to buy from people who have similar personality types, similar interests. They're fun to be around. They have the same values. And so if you're not showcasing that throughout your content, people will have a really hard time connecting with you. So whenever I do an audit of any of my one-on-one consulting clients, I act as if I'm a customer coming to their profile for the first time. I look through their content, and if I can't figure out what their name is at the very least, like massive red flag. Like, why would I message someone if I don't know what their name is? Even as a business coach, when people message me and I'm like trying to look through their whole account to find their name just so I can be more personable, but they haven't got it anywhere, it makes it really hard for me to go, oh, I'm actually talking to a person. So who are you? What do you do? What makes you different from everyone else? How do I work with you? Those are the main pieces of information that I'm looking for. If you're not showcasing who you are, you're not showcasing the brand, if you've got a team, what that personality, what the vibe of the team is, if you're not talking about how you're different from everyone else, it's going to be really hard for people to actually make a distinction that you are unique, you are different, you are a better option. Because let's say someone's going, okay, I want to go book in for a skin treatment, and every single skin therapist is just posting up before and afters. Yes, before and afters are amazing, they're inspiring, but what if I saw 4 accounts with just posting before and afters, and then one account they're talking about the training they do, why they believe these are the best products. Here's what I get up to on my weekend. Here's what a day looks like when I'm in the salon. Here's a client consultation. Here's how we run things differently. Which one are you going to choose? Okay, there's going to be 2 types of clients. One client will just choose the cheapest because they don't value anything other than cheap prices, and they're not going to be loyal in the long term because the only people that cheap clients are loyal to is themselves. Doesn't matter what price point it is. Even if you were $5, if someone was $4, they would just move to the $4. Like, that is literally how their mind works. But on the other hand, someone who's looking to invest is going to be a loyal long-term client and values what you do. They're going to appreciate that you provide more value for them before they're even providing value to you. And so I want you to ask yourself, how am I creating that connection? How am I providing value with people? Because if I'm not giving them value, then I'm not going to be able to attract them in. even as a business coach, me doing this podcast, imagine if I didn't provide any value. I just talk about before and afters all the time. Even with my before and afters, I wouldn't just put a screenshot of an empty bank account and a screenshot with money in it. You know, I would talk about what is the process, what were the challenges, what did we learn, what did we change. You can do the exact same thing with your own strategy. Now, another thing that I have experienced both as a business coach, but more so as a consumer of beauty services, and I'll explain what happened to me recently. So I've just got rid of my eyelash extensions, and I have been a diehard fan of eyelash extensions for 8 years. Now, I was considering going and getting lash extensions and going to someone new. I had a look on a website of a lash tech that one of my friends recommended. And I'm just going to say, disclaimer, I used to do lashes. Like, I understand that there's volume, different types, there's classics, there's different Ds and styles. I get that. But this lady's booking system, I had no idea what she was even selling. Like, it did not make sense. There was, 35 different types of lashes. They were all called really weird names. Wasn't clear what the description was. And I just got into a state of like, this is too hard to the point where I went, you know what? I'm actually just going to get my lash extensions removed and I'm going to try a lash lift. Like, that's how bad the booking system was. And the lesson from here is, if there's too many options to choose from, there's no clear descriptions, and you're not using language that the everyday person can understand, people aren't going to book in. And if you can't quite grasp your head around this concept, I want you to think to a time when you've been to a restaurant and they've given you this beautiful menu and there's 50 pages and like 20 dishes per page. How hard is it for you to make a decision? There's so much information there. It overwhelms you. And if you've got one menu with 5 options, yeah, you might not think, oh, these are the most amazing options. However, you're 10 times more likely able to make a decision. So really look at your booking system and think, if I was not a therapist, a technician, a specialist, what would I be looking at? Like, think about the everyday person, and, even better, get someone who has no idea about what you do, whether it's, your partner, whether it's a family member, a friend, or something like that. And they sit down and you go, I want you to look through my booking system. Like, does this make sense? Because you need it to make sense to people who have no idea what you do, especially industries like skin. When I see the word peel, or if I see AHA and BHA, I'm going to have no idea what any of that means. So you've got to talk to me like, what is the problem that I would be facing? What is the benefit or solution I get from having this service? Because I'm going to understand that, and that's what I'm going to click to book in for. Now, I reckon the beauty industry is the worst for this, but just putting no effort into your captions or your copywriting, like saying something like, wow, look at these pretty lashes, or wow, what an amazing skin transformation. Click the link in bio to book in now. And it's like you've just put no effort into it. And obviously, if you don't understand how to structure your captions, you don't have a framework to follow, it can feel really overwhelming. Like, what am I meant to write? But I think the problem is so many people just stay stuck. Like, they allow that mindset to stay with them for, 2 to 5 years, and they just keep going, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. In 2025, nothing matters more than your messaging. And the reason being is there's people with crap messaging. There's people who are using AI only and not actually personalizing it to their brand and training the AI how to actually speak like them. And then there's people who are absolutely killing it with messaging, making people go, wow, that is exactly what I'm experiencing. I feel so heard and seen right now. That's what I need help with. And so which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the person who struggles, who doesn't get any clients, who doesn't work on their messaging? Or are you going to be the person who learns this year? You're going to be the person who starts to put effort in, who starts to get more results because they are changing the way they're doing their messaging. It took me 2 years to get my messaging down packed for coaching. I had to trial, test, review, change things. I used to always make the mistake, both in beauty and coaching, where I was like, what I've got is amazing. It literally changes people's lives. Like I knew that inside. I knew I was good at what I did, but I didn't know how to articulate it. And you might be the same. You might go, oh, I know how to get clients these great results. I've got all the proof there. I've got great before and afters, but how do I actually communicate that? And so you've got to look at what are the problems that your ideal client is facing and dive deeper. Like what are their frustrations? What are their challenges? What are their insecurities? What are they losing sleep over at night? And then be descriptive with it. Make it super relatable. Speak to an exact situation or experience that they would have been in themselves. Then I want you to take those problems and use your service, your product, your offer as the solution. So what do you help them with? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What are their desires? What is the benefit or outcome of you providing them with this? How is their life going to be better? How's it going to make them feel emotionally? How's it more convenient for them? Does it save them time? What's the lifestyle changes they're going to receive from having this? Can you see how diving deeper and actually doing the research and taking the time to understand and then crafting this into messaging, it's going to make so much more of an impact? And this is why I really struggle, because I go through Facebook groups and I see people going, oh, I can't get clients. Nothing's working. I tried posting. And I look at the post and it says something like, hi, I'm Sammy. I'm a mum of two. I live in Perth. I have just recently opened up a beauty salon. I offer lashes, brows, and skin treatments. I am looking to book in some models for this week. Please send me a DM if you sound interested. Like it'll always sound something like that. And if you actually, next time you see one of these posts or next time you review maybe one of these posts you may have done in the past, if you read that, the amount of times they say I, why would anyone read that? You're talking all about yourself. You know what it's like when you go to one of those, social gatherings and someone's always talking about themselves and all the things they're doing and they don't even ask you about how you're doing or how you're feeling or what you're up to. If I came on this podcast and I was like, I'm so good, I'm amazing, I offer this, I help with this, I do that, I don't think I'd have many listeners. But I take the time to say, I know you feel this way. These are the problems with your brand. If you want help, here's how you can improve. See the contrast between me telling versus me talking with you? Like, yeah, I always say this to clients. I'm like, you're either talking at them or you're talking with them. You don't want to talk at someone. You want to talk with them because that's going to build rapport. So the deeper you dive into your messaging, the more likely you are to start attracting high value clients who really connect with you, who share the same values, and who want to invest in your services. Now, this might be a bit of a wake-up call for some, but I think I need to share it. When I was running my beauty salon, I thought that posting is what gets you clients, right? And I think a lot of people do think that still to this day. Posting is not going to get you clients, not in the way you think it will anyways. Posting is really there to nurture the audience you have. And you're going to have two people in your audience. You've got people who already see you and work with you and know who you are. And you've got people who are coming across your profile, they're scoping you out and they're trying to understand what you're doing. Your content should be nurturing both of those people, right? But your stories are where you actually get clients. Stories are where you are showing up, you're talking, you're storytelling, you're promoting. You're essentially getting a conversation started from that story, directing people into your DMs, having a conversation with them in the DMs, seeing if you guys are the right fit for each other, and then getting the booking on the back end of that. If you aren't selling on your stories, you're not showing up on your stories, you're not promoting on your stories, and I'm not talking about just promoting available appointment times. I'm talking about using structured copywriting frameworks like problem, agitation, solution. Going in there and speaking to the problem, agitating it a bit more, talking to the solution that you provide, and then getting people to DM you a keyword, that is what's actually going to start generating you leads. In Facebook groups, if you're going into the Facebook groups, you still need to follow some kind of structured framework where you are speaking to their problem, presenting them with a solution, and then getting them to gauge their interest. So whether that's commenting a keyword, an emoji, don't say DM me. I think that DM me is just such a sucky thing to do because A, there's so many privacy settings on these days that half the DMs you might not even receive or know. B, it's causing them to have to take so many extra steps by going onto your profile, clicking the message button, getting into Messenger, sending you a message. Whereas if it's just one step, all they have to do is like react to the post or comment. It's going to be a lot easier. And so you want to create less barriers of resistance and just make it simple for them to go in there and do the thing. And then you can reach out, you can make the effort, you can build the rapport, you can book them in. Like, you've got to think about it as dating. Like, how is it easy for them to say yes? If I'm going to make it really hard and, oh, I've got all these things in my calendar, I can't make the time for you, and, oh, that doesn't work with me. Like, why don't you just say, this is what you need to do? They do that one thing. Cool. Let's take the next steps from there. Like, make it so simple. It's stupid for them to say no. And also, if you're not growing your brand awareness or your audience size, then you've got to ask yourself, why am I not seeing growth? Like, what am I currently doing to actually grow it is probably a better question. And if you're not doing anything, then you might want to consider engaging with your ideal client. Go and find them in groups. Go find them in places that they've been hanging out online. You know, what do they like to do in their spare time? What are the accounts that they might be following? Go find them and engage with them. You actually have to show up in their newsfeed for you to get their attention. I follow people. I comment on posts. I like things. I do it outside of my current following so that I'm always growing. Now, if you're not comfortable doing that, then you might need to look at doing something different, like expanding your network or brand visibility in person. So are there events you're going to? Are there collaborations or partnerships that you can work with? Like, what are we doing to actually get your brand out there in front of more people? Or lastly, are you running ads? You know, are you tapping into the massive world of social media and being able to start getting more reach in your local area or running ads in your local area so you're getting in front of more ideal clients? Now, the thing is, not everyone who sees your ads are going to be ideal clients, but over time, the people that are interested, they will follow you. And just on a side note, this is why I hate giveaways. I think they are so stupid. And that sounds really passionate, but seriously, every time you do a giveaway, you are just opening yourself up to people who don't really value your brand. You're opening yourself up to people who only want something for free. You'll get, a rise in following potentially, a bit more engagement on a post, woohoo. But the second that the winner's announced, you'll have more people unfollow you, your engagement's going to drop, and it can actually hurt your business more than it can actually benefit the business. Yes, it can be good for brand awareness, but if you are doing a giveaway, you've got to make sure it's something that's actually aligned and of interest to an ideal client. So don't give away an iPhone, don't give away a Louis Vuitton handbag or something like that. Like, give away something that's going to be really aligned with your brand. Is it a certain skincare range that you stock? Is it a, journal or something, like affirmation cards? I really don't know. Depends on what type of mug you're going for. But the idea is, if you do a giveaway, you need to be very intentional with it. Otherwise, you're just giving away free resources, free real estate on your social media, and a lot of energy without seeing the return that you truly do deserve for all the hard work you put in. So those are a few of the main reasons why people don't get clients. And I think if you don't have the awareness and you're showing up and doing all of these things, it can feel really frustrating, right? You're like, I feel like I am selling my soul, my time, my energy. I'm trying to post. I'm trying to get more clients in. I'm struggling for cash week to week. It's a very overwhelming feeling, and I have been there myself. I know firsthand how stressful it can be. However, you don't have to stay stuck there. There's a choice, right? You can either keep accepting that that's going to be your fate, doing the exact same thing week to week, still playing that victim mindset, complaining everything and everyone else for you struggling and why you're not getting ahead in business. Or you can take some radical self-responsibility, realize that there's a knowledge gap, there's something that you don't understand, something that you still need to learn, and then go out there and start educating yourself. Now, if you listen to what I'm about to tell you and you go, oh, that's a great idea, and then you never go implement it, that's on you. Because I'm here to share with you exactly how you can get fully booked. But here's the thing, if you don't action it, if you don't implement it, you're not going to get the result. And that's the problem with most of the industry. People are only willing to do the bare minimum. And as a result, they only get the bare minimum in their business. So if you want high quality clients, if you want to build a high-end business and you want to be fully booked, then keep listening, because I'm going to be sharing my golden secrets with you. So back in the day, I was really struggling to understand, what does it actually take to get fully booked? I trialed and tested different platforms, different strategies, and then I realized that there's kind of consistency within the formula I was creating. And over time, that strategy or approach I was using, it got refined, it got trialed, it got tested, it got improved, and it led me to create the fully booked formula. Now, there's 5 steps to the fully booked formula, and it's actually a lot more simple than people think. Step 1 is called lead generation. So if you have never heard of a lead generation, you don't know what that means. It's basically getting people to say, hey, I'm interested in what you have to offer. How do I find out more? So lead generation starts by you giving away free value, asking a question, gauging people's interests, putting out a wait list, like anything that's going to essentially collect their information. So their name and their email address. If you don't have clients consistently asking you about your services, wanting to book in with you, wanting to work with you, it might be a complete lack of lead generation. Like you just have nothing that is lead or sales generating in your business right now. Your strategy might be always promoting photos, offers, specials, anything like that. But the problem is it might not be lead generating. So what I mean by this is, if you are going out there and you're showing up and you're putting all this content out there, it might be educational, you might do some personal stuff, you might even sit there and do, your typical before and afters and testimonials and all of that. But if you don't have call to actions that say, DM us this word if you would like more, DM us this if you'd like to, or you want, like you kind of need to create that call to action that's actually going to get them to take the action to start their journey. So honestly, if you don't have lead generation in your business at all, that's probably the first reason why you're not getting any clients. So it's a crucial part of your marketing strategy. You've got a marketing strategy where you nurture people, and then you've got your marketing strategy where you're actually turning the people that are nurtured into paying clients. So that is lead generation. Step 2 is lead conversion. So every single person that puts up their hand and says, hey, I'm interested in what you have to offer, not every single one of those people is going to turn into a client. It would be amazing if they did. And if you've got a high conversion rate, then good on you and amazing. However, I think it's more realistic that we understand what conversion rates are. So let's say you put an ad up and you get 100 views, you get 10 inquiries, and then you only get 2 clients out of it. If you got 10 inquiries and only 2 clients actually sign up with you, that means you've got a 20% conversion rate. So if you then went, okay, well, when I put money in and I get 100 views and 10 inquiries and then 2 clients, you've got to reverse engineer and think, well, I would need 1,000 views. So I'd need 1,000 views to get 100 inquiries to then gain 20 new clients. And when you start looking at the numbers and understanding, well, how many people inquire to how many people convert, it actually helps you understand how much effort you need to put in or what numbers you need to aim for at the top of your funnel to get more people coming through and converting into clients. Now, what I teach in my lead conversion strategies is actually how to have conversations in the DMs that sell people into your services. So often, people get text messages like, what do you charge? And then you put your prices and then they see the message and then they ghost you. Now that is the worst strategy ever, because what happens is these people are price shopping, right? They're looking through, they're seeing everyone, they want to know price. Cool. They're all offering the same thing technically. So I'm just going to go for the cheapest one. But if you care about your clients, if you care about what you do and you genuinely want the best results for them, you need to have a conversation. You need to understand what it is that they're currently struggling with. Have they had this service in the past? What kind of experience did they have in the past? What would they like improved? You need to understand what look or style they're going for, because if, you're all about being natural and you're holistic and they want a really full-on glam look, like imagine if you didn't have that conversation beforehand. You need to pre-screen people to see, are they an ideal client or not? Can I actually provide them with what they're wanting? Because if you don't have what they want, then it's a disservice to them and it's more stressful for you because that's not what you're good at. That's maybe not what you do. However, if you do have these conversations, you can figure out, oh, wow, yes, I definitely know I'm the person that can help and here's how we're going to do it. I think we often forget how to just have a conversation with people. Notoriously worst problem in beauty salons, whether it's the owner, whether it's the team, or whether it's the admin, it's always like this really bossy or demanding language and people don't realize that they're actually doing it. So let me know what time works for you. Let me know what you want to do. Like this, let me know. It's giving a direction, right? Whereas if you ask an open-ended question, it opens up conversation. So if you said, what time would work best for you? What are you most interested in? What would you like to know more about? Just by simply changing that little bit of language and wording, you're actually going to build more rapport. You're going to be able to carry the conversation and you're more likely to get an answer out of them. But when you don't do that and you're giving this really like pushy language, very masculine based sales language, it actually can drive people away. So always ask yourself, if I were to read this text message that I'm about to send out, is it asking a question that's prompting a response from them? Because if it's a direction or an action, like you're telling them to do something, then it's less likely to get a response from them. So you've got to understand, how do I have conversations in the DMs to convert clients? If this is something you struggle with, in the beauty industry leaders community, we have DM scripts. Now, this is stuff that has been trialed and tested over time. It's allowed people to understand what kind of questions I need to ask, how I need to have these conversations so that I can get more clients in. It even helps you with things like understanding, what messages do I send when someone has just followed me? What messages do I send when someone hasn't rebooked in a while? These exact messages are frameworks that you can plug and play, or you can adjust to your own brand tone of voice and be able to start using with your clients so that you can stop losing people to having crappy messaging. So we've just covered step 1, which is lead generation, and step 2, which is lead conversion. Now you've got the client who's interested, who's booked in, they're coming in. You've got to think about step 3, your offer. And what I mean by your offer is not just the service itself, but the experience. The reason why I talk about this is because some people think, why do clients not rebook with me? Why do I not get more referrals? And simply put, sometimes it's because they offer a shit service and a shit client experience. If you don't look after your clients, if you don't get them results, if they don't feel valued, they're not going to want to keep coming back. And so you need to look at the client journey from start to finish. What does that look like? How many touch points are there? How do you make them feel? How are you going from just being a service provider to an experience provider? Yeah, I can go down to the shops and I can go grab some food, or I can go sit down at a restaurant. Someone's serving me. Someone's coming and checking in on me. They're pouring my water for me. Like, there's such a difference between going from somewhere like, Sushi Train to Nobu. Like, what is the difference in that experience? I need you to start thinking about not being the budget service provider, not the budget experience. I want you to be the premium high end, because what happens is you shift your mindset, you shift the way you show up, and people can really feel and feed off that energy. They want to be there. Like, if you want to retain clients, if you want to survive a pandemic, if you want to survive a cost of living crisis, you need to offer something that is incredible, that people want to invest in, they see the value in, and they want to be consistently having that in their lives. If you wonder why, clients just drop off, they say, I haven't got money, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. It's because they don't value you as much as they value the other things they're spending their money on, right? Like, if I was looking at some of the people I know that I'm friends with, they might get their hair done, their lashes, their nails, but if their nail tech doesn't talk to them, they feel like, I don't really have much of a great experience when I go there. I just kind of sit there in silence, get my nails done and walk out. Guess which service they drop first? Nails. So not to say that everyone's going to drop nails, but it's more the idea that if you aren't providing that quality service and that experience, you're going to be the first one to go. And so the higher value you make your offer, the more likely people are going to continue buying from you and investing in you long term. So you've got to take your offer from being a want to a need, because it's that high value. Step 4, rebooking clients. This is something that we don't spend enough time learning how to do. You think it's something simple like, hey, do you want to rebook? And then yes, and then the rebooking and cool, it's done. But there's actually a science that I've found to rebooking at a 95% client retention rate. And the reason why I say 95% is because not every single client is going to rebook. If I told you, here's how to get 100% client retention rate, like, it wouldn't feel real. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is great if you can achieve that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but 95% is more realistic because some people might not continue to rebook. The other thing is, if you offer services like PMU, cosmetic tattooing, it's going to be really hard for people to want to rebook because they get their main appointment done, then they have their touch up, and then they wait, and then they might have their annual touch up or biannual, whatever it is. Sorry, not biannual. And then they have their annual touch up. So obviously, different services, the rebooking rate is going to be quite off, especially in your booking system, because of the amount of treatments or appointments it takes to get the result. So, for example, rebooking clients with something more frequent, like lash extensions or nails or brows, the rebooking rate is going to be a lot higher. But if it's something like a lip blush tattoo or an eyebrow tattoo, the rebooking rate may appear lower purely because that service only needs a couple of appointments and then it's done. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I just wanted to preface that before we begin. The number one rule of rebooking clients in my world is that you never ask the question, do you want to rebook? And the reason being is, if you ask someone, do you want to rebook? It's really easy for them to go, no, because they don't want to pull out their calendar. They don't want to have to think about it. They're like, I'll just do it later online. And then they forget. We've all been there. And so it's actually about how you pre-frame them throughout their appointment. And then when they get to the rebooking stage, they're ready to pull out their calendar. They're ready to rebook, and then following up with them after. There's a whole series of steps that I like to follow in order to keep a high client retention rate. And this is what I've taught all of my clients, and it freaking works. So here's what we're going to do. Number one is, in those appointments, when you've got them on the bed, on the chair, or however you run your services, you want to establish a rapport with that person. So get to know them, get to have some conversations, become friends with them. That's probably the easiest way that I can explain establish rapport. Then you want to pre-frame them. So what pre-frame means is to get them thinking about something without them really realizing it. So they're understanding a certain idea or perspective you have before you're presenting them with it. So for example, pre-framing, I would be talking to them about, have you had this treatment before? If they have had the treatment before, then have you been, educated about the aftercare? They might have, but they might have not been taught in your way. So it's always important, regardless if it's a new client or a returning client, to actually educate them on your aftercare process, because that way you're taking responsibility for their results in the future. Because if they're following bad aftercare advice that isn't actually aligned to your values or what you've been taught or what you stand for, that could be a big red flag. So pre-frame. People don't know why they need to rebook unless you actually spell it out for them. So what are the service specific benefits of someone rebooking with you? So what I mean by this is lash extensions is a really easy one. So let's say they've got lashes and you're going, you need to rebook every 2 to 3 weeks. Why do they need to rebook? Like they're just going, oh, do I have to? Can I just push it out to 4 weeks? But if you actually take the time to educate them, look, the natural lash actually grows out. And what happens is that lash extension is attached to the root. As it grows out, it can actually cause damage to the natural lashes if they aren't removed and then replaced with a new lash extension closer to the lash line. This is why we do the refills. It's not to keep me coming back in and always making more money off you or anything like that. Like sometimes I like to joke about it like that just to make it feel less awkward or, serious. And then I just say, but the real reason why we do this is because we don't want your lashes to get damaged. Like in the long term, you want to keep your lashes nice and full. And yeah, it is nice to have them fluffy, have that volume, that maintenance. However, the real reason is if you want lashes in the long term, it's better that we have these appointments closer together rather than pushing them out all the time, because we're going to be able to keep on top of that regrowth and make sure that we're not having any damage to the natural lashes. As soon as you start talking about the benefit to the client, how this is going to help them in the long term, how it's either saving them or helping them maintain their results because they are investing in you, then they start to understand why they need to come back. Skin is another great example. So, why do I have to pay for another skin appointment? I've just spent $350, $500. Like whether we like it or not, sometimes this is actually what's going through people's minds. And you've got to say, so with this treatment, here's what you can expect to happen within the next XYZ days. We highly recommend that you have this aftercare product or you do this certain thing or avoid doing this certain thing so that you can, what is the benefit here? What is the achieved outcome that they're going to come to by doing this? If they don't do it as well, it's worth educating what can happen on the other end of that. So you can say, here's why we do this and why we are so supportive of you getting these results or whatever it may be. But on the other hand, if you choose not to use the aftercare, if you choose not to come back regularly for this maintenance appointment, here's what can also happen. So I think it's like educating people about the pros and the cons and then putting the ball back in their court and saying, however, you're the one that can make this decision. I'm here to guide you. I obviously want the best results for you. However, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do, but this is what I would strongly recommend. And so this way, you're not forcing anything down their throats. You're not telling them that they have to do this, but through just educating them and showing them, and people can feel that you will actually care and you're taking the time for them to understand, like you're taking the time to teach them how to get the best results or how to maintain the best results for them. They're going to be a lot more receptive. So if you tell someone what to do, you give them unsolicited advice, not receptive. People don't like that. But if you actually take the time to educate them and you empower them to make their own decisions by asking them questions, they're going to feel like they're in control of the decision and they're going to be 10 times more likely to actually take action on that. So just when it comes to the pre-framing, think about what is the service-specific benefit of them rebooking. And then on the opposing side, like what could go wrong or what might they experience or notice if they don't rebook or they don't follow the aftercare advice. You get me? Well, hopefully you do. So now we've got the pre-frame. We're doing that probably like midway towards the end of the appointment, so it's fresh of mind. If you do it at the start, probably going to be forgotten about by the time you've had a big conversation. So like midway towards the end, that's the perfect time to actually have those conversations. So during the appointment. Then we've got the hype up feedback. So when they're finishing up their service, you need to ask them for feedback because this is your golden opportunity to figure out, do they love this? Are they maybe not happy? Are they going to go on Facebook and put up a little post and get 200 other people's opinions, advice, and then come back in and they're all angry and crazy? Like that, asking for feedback in that scenario, that just one opportunity can be all the difference between you fixing something, having the opportunity to have that conversation, or educating them that it's going to go down in a few days. Like, this is normal. Could be all the difference between that and some crazy Facebook post. Like, I've seen it happen a few times, and you like to think, yeah, people aren't like that, but unfortunately they are. So what we got to do is make sure that throughout our consultations, throughout our service delivery, and then after our service delivery, we are always checking in with our clients, getting their feedback, making sure that they are happy. And if you can see they are happy, hype them up. Give them a little extra boost of confidence, because when people are feeling lucky, when people are feeling like they got that adrenaline, endorphin, dopamine hit, whatever, they are going to want to book in and do more. And a great example of this is when people go to the casinos, right? You lose money, you feel like shit, you leave. You win money, you want to keep putting more down. You feel great. Like, it is an emotional thing. And so if you are hyping people up and you're making them feel good and you're getting it excited like they are, they're going to want to rebook again. They want more of that in the future. So then that's when you would lead into your rebooking. Now, depending on the client, you might just rebook them for a service, or you might upgrade them if they've said, next time I want to go and get this done, or I want to add this in. This is the opportunity to rebook and upgrade. And then you've already had that conversation, right, in the pre-frame section about the aftercare. So now is the time to say, have you got this? And it will be the aftercare that you suggested. Now, they might say no. If not, would you be interested? Would you like me to get you some? Yes, cool. Grab it. There you go. Otherwise, if they say, yeah, I've already got it, then you can say, are you running low? Do you need any more, or are you all good? And then they might go, actually, I am running low. Yeah, I might get some new stuff. So just prompting those questions can really help. It's not being pushy. It's not being salesy. It's literally just serving someone, asking them questions, helping them. So once you've got them sorted with their rebooking, their aftercare, the next step is to process the sale. So notice how in this rebooking process, the process sale is actually the last thing. When I've spoken to a lot of clients, I started to realize that they were doing this process the complete opposite way. They would just go, process sale, do you want to rebook? No, we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. We want to always ask to rebook first, then aftercare, now we process the sale. So if you are someone who has previously been processing sales and then rebooking, you might be creating that barrier of resistance. Reason being is people can go, I've just spent all this money. Now you want more money from me. It's not going to get them excited to rebook. But if you're hyping them up, you're giving them that feedback, we've already had this conversation about why you want to be rebooking. Okay, now we've rebooked you. Great. Can't wait to see you at your next appointment. Now we've just set you up with the aftercare if you need any aftercare. Cool. Now we're all sorted. We've got this appointment done, your next appointment booked in, your aftercare sorted. Now we're going to process the sale. So you put the sale through, say thank you, give a smile, give them that customer service. Don't make it feel awkward, right? Number one rule of sales is if you feel awkward, they're going to feel awkward. If you feel excited, if you have gratitude, if you're smiling, they're going to feel even better than what you're currently feeling. So you have to know that when you're processing sales, you have to believe in your delivery, your confidence, and know that you have just given them value. Now they are exchanging and returning that value back to you in the form of monetary compensation. Cool. So we've gone through this whole process. Let's just recap again. Establish rapport. We pre-frame. We hype up, give them the feedback. We then do the rebooking. And if they want to upgrade, we upgrade them. We then go through aftercare, sell them the aftercare product if they need it. We've then processed the sale. Now we got to follow up. Following up is the key to creating long-term clients. And not in the annoying way of, sending out all these automated text messages that sound like a robot. No, I'm talking about genuinely sending them a message, 24 to 72 hours after their appointment and checking in with them. Are they happy? Did they have any questions or concerns? Is there anything else they need? By you just following up with them, it's kind of like the same as when I was talking about that feedback piece, right? You can put their mind at ease. You can have that conversation. If they're not happy with something, then it's opening up the conversation to create a resolution. If they're stoked with it, great. That's a screenshot testimonial that you can use in your marketing. The follow-up process is for you to consistently build on that relationship and make sure that client feels valued, not like another number in the system. Now, as your business gets bigger, you're maybe having a team and you think, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. Like, number one, you could get a VA to do it. Number two, you could get your receptionist to do it if you wanted. Number three, you could set up automated software and be able to use AI or another kind of tool to help customize and personalize these messages. So it just depends on what scale your business is at and how much time you have. However, this follow-up process is what is going to make people feel really valued and want to keep coming back. But if you don't follow up with them, it's like going on a date, right? You have a really nice night together. You're like, ooh, this is exciting. I want to see them again. And then you just never hear from them again. You don't get a text message. And then maybe you start to question, did they not like me? Did it maybe not run as well as I thought? All of those things. So you've just got to make sure that this process is something that you're following, because if you do this and you do it well and you do it consistently, this is what will allow you to come out of the Christmas period and remain fully booked. And I know this because this is what happens to my clients. My clients don't have that awkward drop-off period in January, February. If anything, they're either growing at the same rate or they're maintaining their clientele, but they're never dropping. So just something to think about. If you're someone out here that says, oh, it always drops off around this time, like, it's probably because you have a crap rebooking process, or you're not offering a quality service that people want to keep coming back for. So you've got to put effort and time into mastering this, because once you master it, business gets to be easy. Seriously, imagine thinking like, I put all this time and energy, I learn how to get the clients, and then I just keep rebooking them. It's a lot harder to get new clients than it is to continue rebooking the clients you already have. And so you don't want to put all this effort into getting all these new clients and then not rebook any of them. So you've got to simultaneously get good at gaining and retaining clients. And this is why we call it the fully booked formula, because it has a formula. It has a process. There are processes within the processes, but I promise you, they all work. Now, step 5, the last and final step of the fully booked formula, is your follow-up process. I have said within this episode follow up a fair few times, and genuinely the power is in the follow-up. The power is in the follow-up. You need to have a feedback and rebooking / follow-up process in place. So there's a few times that I like to follow up with people. Number one is after I have presented them with information, if they've inquired, I always like to say, hey, I know life can get super busy. Did you have some time to have a look at what I sent you? Were you able to find a time that works for you? Like, I always ask that open-ended question. The other thing about the follow-up process is also after you've had the client come in. So like I just spoke about before with the rebooking clients, if they've had this service for the first time or they're a new client, you really want to make sure you're following up with them and just checking in to see, are they happy? Have they got any questions? Have they had any issues? And then being able to support them from there. But the next steps or other things that I would follow up with is if they haven't rebooked and if they haven't been back in, 1 to 3 months. So depending on what services you offer and how often people are coming back, you've got to actually consider, when am I following up with people who aren't rebooking services? Because this is where you can lose people forever. So I had a client, her name was Jade. She came to me and she said, I really need some new clients. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I have no money coming in. And I remember looking at her booking system and thinking, you've got heaps of people in your booking system. Like, why don't you, instead of sending out a big blast text message to everyone saying, we miss you with 20% discount code, which I swear never really gets clients unless you never offer discounts and, there's always people who are just constantly stalking you. Like, maybe it might work, but most part, it's a very robotic text message that people just go, oh, this person needs money right now. So what she actually did instead was take which of the clients who haven't returned in like 2 to 3 months, look through our booking system, got their names, got their mobile numbers, and sent them a personalized text message. So she remembered the last conversation they had. She asked them a question. And then she said she was actually looking for someone to come in this week for a service. And in exchange, she did a value add. She messaged 12 people, and out of the 12 people, 11 of them booked, which added $3,500 of revenue into her business. Now, following up is so powerful. Like if you don't follow up with people, they forget about you. And it's not following up in a way that you're like, hey, you didn't reply to me. So rude. It's literally just asking them questions like, did you need any more help? Did you have any more questions? Did you find a time that worked for you? Is there any reason why you didn't rebook? And any information you could provide us with so that we can improve in the future, because we are committed to giving our clients the best experience possible. We're always looking to grow. We're always looking to innovate. Like any kind of message like that also can prompt people to go, oh, actually, I was seeing this person there and they weren't really listening to what I said, or I didn't really feel like this was the right thing for me. You know, it's just sparking up those conversations. And yeah, it can feel scary. Oh my gosh, getting feedback. What if people didn't like me? All of the things. But how are you meant to improve? How are you meant to prevent this stuff from happening in the future if you aren't creating those feedback loops in your business? So you need to make sure that you are following up. The power is in the follow-up. So let's just run through the fully booked formula one more time, right? Step 1, lead generation. Getting people to say, hey, I'm interested in what you have to offer. Where is this happening? Mostly on stories or in a call to action at the end of your post, directing them to your DMs. The goal of step 1, lead generation, is step 2 to get them in your DMs for lead conversion. So this is having conversations with them, asking them about their dream outcomes, asking them if they've had the service before, making sure that you can actually provide them with the result that they're looking for, and pretty much screening to see if they're an ideal client for you or not. You then have step 3, which is your offer. So not only the service itself, but also the experience you're offering. How are you making sure that people want to keep coming back and they're so insanely happy with their results that they're even going to bring more people in because they have to know about this? Like, make your offer so damn good. Step 4 is rebooking clients. So following the rebooking process to make sure that all the hard work you're putting in place to get new clients, you're then actually rebooking them. And then step 5 is your follow-up process. So making sure that any new clients that come in, any clients that you consistently having coming in, like what are you doing to follow up with them, check in with them every now and again, and make sure that you're developing that relationship so that they do stay as a long-term loyal customer in your business. Now, on top of all of this, like I have mentioned in previous episodes, one of the biggest shifts you need to make to get fully booked is in your mindset. Stop undervaluing yourself. If you don't believe your services are worth top dollar, neither will your clients. You also really need to embrace consistency. Success isn't about doing one big thing perfectly. It's about doing small things consistently. Think of your business like a garden. If you plant seeds and only water them once in a while, they'll wither. Heck, they'll die. Your business will die if you don't do this consistently. If you do it once and then you go, oh, I get all these clients, and then you drop off, like, what do you think you're going to do? But if you show up daily, those seeds will grow into something amazing. So you've got to water your plants. Think of your business like your plants. You're putting this fully booked formula in your business. You're working on it every day. You're tracking how many new clients you're getting. You're tracking how many clients you're rebooking. If you actually have a system in place and you track these numbers, it's going to motivate you even more. If you want to hit a $10,000 month, if you want to hit a $50,000 month, if you want to hit a $500,000 month, you need to actually work backwards and look at how many services do I need to get there? And then look at your marketing strategy. How many times do I need to post? How many stories would I need to put up? And then how many people put their hand off based on a story? And then you can start over time figuring out what your conversion rates are, what the maths are, how many times you need to show up, what you need to post to start getting those numbers through your door. Now, if today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to stop struggling and start thriving, I'd love to invite you to join the Beauty Industry Leaders community. Inside, I'll guide you step by step to implement everything we've talked about today and so much more. And here's the thing, I'm not just going to educate you about how to do it. I'm also going to give you the lead generation ChatGPT prompts. So it can create your lead generation posts for you. It can create your lead generation stories for you. Then I'm also going to give you DM scripts so you know exactly what you need to say when you're having these conversations so that you can convert your leads into paying customers in your business. But then we're also going to do an analysis of your client experience, your client journey. So we're going to look at what service are you offering, how are you improving the touch points, and how are you making sure that people want to rave about this to all of their friends and keep them coming back. In terms of the rebooking process that I shared with you today, you'll also get the step-by-step framework of exactly how to do this so you can start implementing that into your business. And if you're not sure how to follow up effectively with your clients, we also give you the DM scripts so you can do it with ease. Imagine this. By this time next year, your calendar is consistently fully booked, your revenue is soaring, and you finally have the confidence to charge what you're worth. That's the kind of transformation waiting for you inside the Beauty Industry Leaders community. Getting fully booked isn't just a dream. It's a formula. And if you've already taken the first step by showing up for this episode, now it's time to take action. If you loved what you heard today, I'd be so grateful if you shared this episode with a fellow beauty business owner, or you went onto Apple Podcasts and left me a review. I don't know why, but Spotify absolutely sucks when it comes to giving reviews. Like, they take so much of your view and your reach away because it doesn't sync with any other platform. So in order for me to continue creating these episodes, putting that value out there for you, can you please take a moment to go off Spotify if you're listening, go look up Beauty Industry Leaders on Apple Podcasts and leave a review, because that's going to help encourage me to keep going, because damn, this is hard work. Like, I love it, but I just need to know, is this hitting or are you guys hating it? The link is in the show notes. And if you're ready to join the Beauty Industry Leaders community, and when I say that, it's not just a community of people, it's actually video trainings. It is resources. It is the cheat codes to build your business without the burnout and overwhelm that everyone in the industry experiences. If that's something that you want to do, join the Beauty Industry Leaders community today by clicking the link in the show notes. I'd love to see you inside. Until next time, keep striving for growth, keep showing up, and remember, success is built one step at a time. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Audience exclusive.